It's incumbent upon the leader to really light that fire and create that safe space.
Well put. This concept of safety comes across very strong, and I'm curious on how it crystallized for you in your own journey. At what point this became clear that needed to be addressed?
Yeah, it really comes down to being vulnerable and enabling and empowering, as I said, and engaging your team in the journey, right? Nobody wants to just be a follower told what to do. And so this story is this is a story from 10 years ago, and it still stings me to tell it to this day. But I'm sitting at the award ceremony at our big conference, it's probably 2010, 2011, and the awards are coming up, and the one that could have won is about to get announced. And as soon as they said it, they announced another name. I think it was Greg Everett, if I recall correctly. And as soon as they said his name, I realized I was deluding myself. I wasn't even in the running that year. And I was deluding myself to think I'd had this great sort of 5 or 6 year run up, but my business had plateaued a good bit. And, as author Richard Bach said, the worst lies we tell are to ourselves. And I was sitting there with these trophies sitting behind me on my bookshelf over here and kept saying, oh, it's an external force that's causing these problems. That's why my business has plateaued. And when that moment arrived and I realized I was out of the running, I got really angry with myself. So the gentleman that won the big award that year, his name is Ian Roche. After the ceremony ended, I run over to him and I said, Ian, did you do anything differently this year to have this breakout year that you had? And he said, yes. I surveyed my best relationships on how I could be a better partner to them, how I have been a partner to them, and how I could be a better partner in the future. So feedback and advice for the future. And I thought, this is absolutely brilliant. So I asked him for a survey. As soon as I got home that Monday, I set out to go about this journey myself. So I tweaked the survey marginally, and I reached out to a handful, probably a dozen, maybe 15 of my best relationships. And I asked them this question. I'll use you as an example, Jose. Because framing this question is very important. Jose, I've known you for all these years. I really appreciate how I've seen you operate around your business over time. In an effort to be a better partner to you and our business relationship, I'd love to get your feedback on what it's like working with me and maybe some things that I might do in the future that would help serve you better. And that simple question, one, makes you very vulnerable because I promise you will hear things you don't want to hear. Yeah. And I can still remember one of those conversations very vividly where I asked this one gentleman, Mike, what's your favorite part about working with my firm? And I thought without a doubt, he was going to tell me how great I was, quite frankly. He never mentioned me once, not once. And I remember sitting there thinking, holy cow, this is what brand management is all about. I did not do a great job of managing my brand with my clients. So went through all these conversations, had this brilliant start, stop, continue exercise from all this feedback everybody gave me. What was working, what wasn't, what should I do differently? I didn't have to tear up my business plan. I just refined it a good bit, and then set forth in my own mission that year of operating differently and based exactly on their feedback. And fast forward a year, I was on that same stage winning the award that Ian won. And then that was really the parlay of me moving into a senior vice president role and a leadership role and taking over a $4 billion a year sales goal. But if I hadn't put myself out there, if I hadn't had that sort of moment of self-awareness to realize, the problems aren't external, they're very much internal. I put myself out there to have this moment of discovery, and it was an absolutely transformative moment in my career. And I've used that same strategy, this sort of feedback, asking for help strategy, again and again. It's incredibly powerful.